Good morning, everyone. Hello, and welcome to this keynote session that is called Advanced Lightweight Materials, a European Commission Perspective by George KOTSIKOS, Project Officer, European Commission Health and Digital Executive Agency. My name is Ricardo del Valle, Senior Innovation Consultant at Bax & Company in Barcelona, and I'm also part of the team that coordinates the European Lightweight Cluster Alliance, ELCA. It's a pleasure to be your host for this session. Lightweighting of engineering structures has been a decades-old engineering challenge for a multitude of applications, and the benefits have been widely documented in the international literature. The European Commission has been consistently supporting research and development in advanced materials for lightweighting through its framework program for at least the past 20 years. More recently, the drive for electrification of transport and circularity has increased the interest and demand for lightweight design solutions, which in turn requires the development of innovative new materials. The wider policy for reduction of CO2 emissions, energy efficiency, and sustainability also gives rise to the need for new solutions to enhance recyclability of novel lightweight materials, critical raw materials replacements and substitution, as well as development of energy-efficient manufacturing techniques. Dr. KOTSIKOS will provide an overview of the state of the art, future challenges, and ways the European Commission can help the industry to meet these challenges. Now let me introduce our speaker. George is a mechanical engineer by training, and his postgraduate studies and subsequent work career of almost 3 decades has focused on advanced lightweight materials R&D, both in industry and academia, encompassing applications in the offshore, marine, defense, automotive, and rail industries. He is the author of several scientific journals, member of a number of scientific committees, recipient of several awards for high-impact research, and has coordinated several national and international research projects over the years. George is currently working as Policy Officer, Program Manager at the European Commission's Health and Digital Executive Agency in the Advanced Materials and Industrial Technologies Unit, responsible for the management of the EU Framework Programs projects and contributions to the development of calls for future areas of research within the European Commission's political framework. Without any further delay, please give a round of applause for George KOTSIKOS. The stage is yours. Thank you, George.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Ricardo, for the introduction. And thank you to the organizers for the opportunity given to me today to present at JEC World 2023. It's a privilege. Let's see. Okay. So before I start my presentation, I would like to mention one thing that came to my mind this morning while walking through the stands. I came about almost 25 years ago to JEC during my previous career with 3 PhD students to experience the event. And I have to say that all of them followed successive careers in the composites industry, and one of them is now the CEO of one of the major exhibitors here at JEC. So the recommendation I have, especially to the exhibitors, is to engage with the students, because there might not be an immediate commercial benefit, but the likelihood is that they will be the decision makers of tomorrow. So with that introduction, I'll start my presentation, which will give you the European Commission perspective on advanced lightweight materials. Advanced materials have been very important to humankind. In fact, we describe different epochs in the human civilization evolution with materials. We talk about the Stone Age, the Bronze Age, the Iron Age, and I'm sure our descendants a few hundred years from now will be talking about our time as the Silicon Age. So what are advanced materials? Well, it's a new material that's normally made up of 2 or more constituents. And this way, we design them intentionally to have enhanced properties and superior performance. Composites and advanced composites fall in this category of advanced materials too. And of course, you understand it is a very high priority area for R&D investment in Europe, both at the national level, but also at the pan-European EU level. This is a graphic that I show quite often, and just to remind us that composites in various forms have been around for millennia. So our ancestors realized about 8,000 years ago that they could put straw in mud bricks to increase their strength. But anyway, the real evolution of composites happened from the 50s onwards, following DuPont's first fiberglass plastic in the market. So, lightweighting. I'm not going to go through the advantages of lightweighting. We all know them very well. They are well documented in the international literature. All I have to say, and you know that applications exist in a multitude of industries like transport, architecture, infrastructure, etc. More recently, the drive for electrification of transport, the requirements for increased efficiency, energy efficiency, more renewable energy have increased the importance of lightweighting designs. The European Commission has been supporting the industry and the research community in the area of lightweighting for over 30 years and throughout its framework programs. The examples are too numerous, too many projects. I'll just give here just 4 projects that deal with various aspects of lightweighting and advanced materials from FP Framework 6, 7, and Horizon 2020. No need to go into detail. You could read to this. But that was the past. Let's see where we are with the new framework program, Horizon Europe, and what the challenges are for advanced lightweight materials. The Horizon Europe framework program is really developed along the guidelines of the European Green Deal strategy, which aims to turn Europe into the first climate neutral continent by 2050. There are 8 pathways that have been recognized as the means to achieving the goal, and 6 of those are energy efficient buildings, public transport, clean energy, recycling, skills, job skills, and competitive industry are directly linked to developments in advanced materials and lightweighting. Of course, I should say that the supported research by the Commission should demonstrate a degree of innovation as well as a European dimension. So, under Horizon Europe, we have identified 3 challenges for lightweight materials and composites in particular. And these are circularity, sustainability, and advanced manufacturing. It is true that recycling is a problem for composites, in particular thermosetting composites. And the estimate is that there will be 680,000 tons of composite waste by 2025. And the global recycling capacity is estimated to be just 1/7 of that. So it is a big challenge to address, but also we think it's a significant opportunity for businesses and several stakeholders to take advantage of. The aim of this is to reduce waste, and that will be through life prolongation, reuse, refurbishing, repair, repurposing, and recycling. In addition, there are some regulations that are coming into play that will affect the composites industry. And first of all, there is the concept of adopting design for circularity as an industry standard. For that, there's going to be the implementation of material passports, where products will be tagged and identified and linked to data relevant to their circularity and sustainability. This will allow the tracking for data on material composition, environmental impact, and circularity. In addition to that, there will be a classification for recycled materials. And for composites, I mean, there are lots of different types of classification systems. And for composites, the challenge is to find the correct classification or classifications that will apply for those. Related to that is also the implementation of class labeling, where secondary materials will be classified and labeled according to their quality. And we hope that this will increase the confidence of manufacturers to adopt composite materials in their design. In terms of sustainability, the second challenge, it relates to energy. I'm giving here an example, carbon fiber epoxy. 50% weight fraction carbon fiber epoxy requires about between 113 and 170 kilowatt hours of energy per kilogram of material, while steel and aluminum are a fraction of that. Therefore, it is, I mean, we know that the cost of carbon fiber composites is high, and we need to reduce that and reduce the use of energy. In addition to that are the matrix materials, polymer resins, where we use finite raw materials, petrochemicals, and the requirement is to move away from that. So in terms of the sustainability, there's going to be the implementation of an extended carbon tax, where lower taxation will apply for lower embodied energy materials. So there will be an incentive for companies to switch to lower energy processes and materials, i.e. use more recycled or bio-based materials with lower embodied energy. In addition, this standardization is going to be introduced. So there's going to be standards for common component interfaces, interchangeability of parts, components and products, and that aims to improve reuse, separation, recovery of materials at end of life. In addition to that, and that relates also to the recycling, is that standards for testing regimes for quality assurance of used parts and components will be in place for secondary materials, and also standardization on recycled composite materials, which both aim to incentivize the use of recycled materials in the design and manufacturing of new components. And finally, additive manufacturing. This is an area that is seeing increasing adoption in various application sectors. So we want to take this a bit further, and we recognize that if you want to increase the efficiency of an engineering design, sometimes you need to use more than one materials, dissimilar materials. So we extend this into using additive manufacturing for multi-material components, and this is an area of R&D investment we're making. So in the first part of Horizon Europe, we've had 3 topics dealing with recycling, biocomposites for sustainability, and advanced manufacturing. I'm not going to go into details, but I want to mention these projects, and I'll explain why I'm doing this in a few minutes. So in terms of recycling, there are 3 projects that have been funded. Eurocomp, Recreate, and MC4, all dealing with recycling of composites for different markets, both carbon and also both carbon and glass fiber. For the second topic, there are 4 projects: Suspense, Arlight Biocom, Forest, and Epoxyable. Again, for different markets. And finally, for the multi-material recycling is Mimosa, Multimag, Multichem, and Made 3D. Again, different markets, different approaches. So why I'm mentioning this, I just want to leave an imprint of these projects in your minds. These projects, it's 11 I presented now, but it's soon going to be 12 because one is still in the grant agreement phase. All these projects, we aim to bring them together in a cluster. In total, we'll have 12 projects that will bring together approximately 110 entities from throughout Europe under a single domain. So this cluster, we hope to organize them into having joint workshops for dissemination and exploitation. You understand that only the number of participants in the projects will create a pretty good dynamic, and we hope that will trigger the interest of external stakeholders, which will be more than welcome. So the reason I'm mentioning these, though, this project is therefore to engage, to ask external stakeholders to engage with these projects, register for their newsletters, keep informed, and try and participate in the clustering workshops whenever those are announced. So, to conclude my presentation, I hope I demonstrated that the European Commission has and will continue to support R&D in advanced lightweight materials throughout the framework programs. But it's not only the framework programs. Assistance can be provided through the European Innovation Council, which assists with the development of highly innovative ideas, and usually these are for low TRL. In addition, we've got now the Advanced Materials 2030 initiative, and I urge those who are not involved in this to get involved with the with AMI 2030, because it's a forum that brings together stakeholders from throughout the value chain in advanced materials, and lightweighting is one area that has been specifically mentioned in the plan of the initiative. It also gives a voice to industry within the Commission, because one of the stakeholders is the European Commission. So with that, I conclude my my presentation, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, George, for this amazing presentation. Now we have time for some questions from the audience. If you have any question, please raise your hand so we make sure you have a microphone. Is there any question? One question here, please. If you can say your name and your organization, and then we can.
Thank you for your speech, Dr. KOTSIKOS. My name is Dionys Semtekolos. I'm from the National Technical University of Athens, part of the coordination team of Eurecom project that you also showed us on the screen. Thank you again for your speech. It's what you said really inspires us, and actually we have already performed some clustering activities. In the upcoming ICCM 2023, we have organized a session, and we have invited the two other projects from Resilience 0101, and it's going to be a pleasure for us to be there with you to discuss. We actually met some members of MC4 yesterday. The exhibition was a really nice idea for us to participate and get to know each other better. So regarding your presentation, we saw in one of your slides that you showed the digital passport of materials to ensure circularity. This is something similar to what we have suggested and trying to implement in Eurecom with material trace origin, and this will also help us ensure circularity. Could you share some more details regarding this, and maybe we could align somehow the activities of Eurecom with what EC has suggested? Thanks.
Right. Yes, thank you. Thank you for the question. First of all, I noted that some of the projects I mentioned here actually have stands in check, which is very good. I hope to visit them after this talk. As for passports, material passports, this is a discussion that has been ongoing for a number of years within the Commission. It's part of the Safe and Sustainable by Design policy. At the moment, as I showed in my presentation, there are a few challenges, like the classification system and the standardization. So it's ongoing. It will be implemented. So just watch this space, as they say. That's all I can say.
Thank you very much. It might be also interesting if we could have a discussion later on with the remaining projects. We'll be here.
Okay.
Thank you again.
Thank you. I think we have time for another question. Yes? If you can say, please, your name and your organization.
Hello, my name is Emma Roussi. I'm from Bucks & Company. And yeah, I was really happy to see also that you were focusing on standardization of component interfaces. My main question is, how are you going to get companies to comply with the standardization, as if you get interchangeability between parts, between companies, it would go against their competitiveness, let's say?
Standardization always, when it was introduced, had some resistance from this, but it has always proven beneficial in the long run. We hope that this is going to be the same in this case. There is a lot of work that needs to be done before the full adoption of those. As I mentioned, the challenges, finding the right approaches, classifications, and all the rest. So it's we are at the stage of, let's say, developing this, and AMI, the Advanced Materials Initiative, will be, brings industry together, and together with industry, let's say, we'll try and formulate the proper approach in order to introduce the standardization into industry and having a smooth implementation of that. That's all I can say.
Okay, thank you. I have one more question, if there's time.
Yes, we
No?
have time
Okay.
for a brief one. Yes, we have
Okay,
to.
maybe it's the same answer, but it's the same for the digital project passports, that data sharing is quite hard for a lot of companies because it would go against their competitiveness and their patents.
Well, data sharing, what would be, it's a matter of a long discussion. It's I understand that there are IP issues in this, but at the level that we are talking, I don't think there will be any secret and anything that people will not be willing to share. And if this work is done via Commission work, paid by the European taxpayer, then it should be open to all. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Those were my questions.
Thank you very much for the questions. And now the session has come to an end. I would like to thank our fantastic speaker, George KOTSIKOS. Please give him a round of applause. Thank you, George. To continue the conversation, in 5 minutes, we will start a panel discussion about the challenges and opportunities of lightweight made in Europe. So see you in 5 minutes.